So like unlike configuration on the layout when we see, so here there is an additional thing in the commerce called actions. So we discussed like there will be different types of actions, and basing on the purpose, so we'll be creating that type of action. So when we create an action, there will be different tabs in it, different areas in it. So let's see what are those areas. I'm just opening my process, some process. I just navigated to the document, list of documents. So in the main document, I'm selecting the drop down and selecting actions. I'm just open one action, existing action. So here, if we see the action, so once after you create it, so to create it, so you will see this kind of page, and you can see like different tabs here. If you see the first tab, general tab, this is the area where you can write some logic if you want to be executed on this action. So on the transaction there will be different fields, right? So different areas. If you need to perform any logic behind the scenes for those fields, so like with the help of this action you can perform that logic. So like in configuration, if you see, so if there is anything any recommendation rule or something is there, so it will be run if you click it as mark it as auto update. So if not, by performing the update action on the above, so you can like your recommendation rules or some rules will be triggered, and respectively like data will be populated on the fields. So similarly, like to make that happen here, so if you want to set any values or run the logic behind the screens in commerce, so you need the help of these actions. So when you click this action, the respective logic will run. So whatever the logic you include in this action, it will run. So this is the place where you can include the logic here. So if you observe last part of the action, this page, so you can see advanced modify before formulas, advanced modify after formulas, these two things. So this is the area where you can include your logic. So they are saying advanced modify, so nothing but you can include some BML code which can modify the content of the attributes. Okay, and at the same time, so we can also observe, so they are saying before formulas and after formulas. So in our tool there is a one more concept called formulas. So those formulas are nothing but we can set the values to the attributes, like individual attributes. So for this particular attribute we can write some logic and that will run accordingly. So like that we have a section called formulas, so that we'll see further. So when he say before formulas or after formulas, that means there is a particular situation where this formulas will run. Okay, so before that formulas run, so if you need to execute some logic, so this is the area, the first one you need to pick. You need to select here define function, and then you need to write click this define function action, and then you will include your BML logic. If there is a situation like after whatever that formulas area is there, after that got executed, then you need to run your logic. So then you need to select the second one, advanced modify after formulas. You need to select this radio button and you need to click this button, so you will include your logic. So like that. So like this is okay. So when we click this action, so whatever the logic here is there, it will execute. But here there is a flow of these things. So like we have some script here, some editor here, we can include some logic, and the same thing below. And there is a situation like there is one more area which can run the logic, which is nothing but the formulas. So like that there is a like 5 different areas of flow in the commerce to execute. So you can write the same logic like or different logic at least to the same attribute. For example, there is an attribute called total price on the transaction. So the total price of the transaction should get some value. So that can be we can add that logic in the advanced modifier before formulas. Okay. So we can also include some logic in the formula section for this particular attribute total price. This is the formula we can include, and even in the after formulas we can write. And there are other two areas, nothing but, so when we create an attribute, if the total price is our attribute, when we create it, so at the time of creation of attribute we can provide some default value to it. That is one more thing. And at the time of creation of quote, see these are the five possible areas where we can, how we can set the logic to particular fields or attributes. So what are all these is, so we just now see these are the two areas, before formulas and after formulas. And the three other areas is, one is attribute default. So when we create the attribute in the commerce, I just opened some attribute in the commerce. So if you see the attributes page, so here we can see different tabs here. So I'm selecting the second tab, default. So here you can see the different areas to add some logic. So whatever this default tab is there, so we can add some logic here. This logic will only execute at the time of creation of attribute on the code. So nothing but, so we create different attributes, right? So whatever these attributes are all there, we can include some logic in this default tab for every attribute. This will run when, in general scenario, so the user will generate a quote, right? So he will create a quote or transaction at the starting of the deal. So when that quote is created, so a UI will appear on the for us to see. That is nothing but the transaction screen. Whatever we see, that UI will appear. So when that UI is going to appear, this attribute is going to create or add it to the transaction. So if we add it here, for example, this is the total monthly list amount. Okay, so when we create the code, so this attribute got created for that code or linked to that code. So at that moment, so whatever this logic is there, it will execute only at the time of creation of code. If we link this attribute to, if we add this attribute to the layout, so only at that time it will run. So like after that, if we open the transaction again, or if you perform any actions or any logics or any step transitions using steps and anything, or approvals, anything, so this logic won't run. So only at the time of creation of code only this will happen. When that attribute got initiated on the code, this logic will run. So that is this area, attribute default. We have one more thing called as a default, code default. I'm opening the process definition again. So just open the list of documents here. So here we can see main document and the sub document, right? I just opened the main document. I just clicked the hyperlink of the main document. So that link. So this page got opened. This is the information related to the main document. Similarly, we'll be having some information at the sub document level. So if you see, there is advanced default. If you select this option and if you click this button, so it will provide you the similar editor. You need to check this. This editor will be like similar to like how you write the rules, but it is asking like if you observe in configuration. So when you open the editor, so it will open the code editor directly, and at the top of it, it will show you the attributes or library functions or function wizard or like that. So whatever you need, so the things will be at the top, and you can see the editor directly. Here the UI will be like when you open it, so it will show you the list of inputs you can access. So these are all the types of inputs you can access. So these are all the different types of attributes. This is the library function. Similarly, how you see in the configuration page, configuration rule. So these three tabs, if you observe, so in common like configuration also, we will be having the first tab as attributes, right? So that is the place where you will add your rule inputs to your editor. So similarly, so these are all the three possible attributes. We can add it here. So these are nothing but one is system attributes. So system attributes are nothing but so whatever the fields which are automatically given by you by your tool. So these are we don't need to create it. So they will be generated like automatically. So by seeing this, we can use this simply variable names. So we can simply use this variable names in our logic, and to use that, we need to check it here. Whatever we need, so we need to click all those checkboxes. So the second tab, if we see, these are the list of attributes what we created at the main document level. And the third tab is the attributes which we create at the sub document level. So these three are the attributes, available attributes which we can add to our logic. And the fourth tab is the library functions which we can add to our logic. So once you're done with checking all these things, scroll to the bottom. So you can simply click next here. So now this page got opened. So this is the similar page what we, where we see in the rules even. So here by using this logic, you will add your inputs and all. So this is if you observe, so here we can add logic and we can set the we can add our logic. So basing on the requirement, we can set values to the multiple attributes, because so there is a format to return a value to the code attribute. If you open it, I'm opening it again, the editor. For example, let's let's take some attribute. Let's consider this. I'm just selecting this attribute. I'm navigating to the down. So if you see at the bottom here, expected format of return value. So whenever you want to set some value to the quote attribute in the commerce, so there is some format to return a value. So in configuration, if you observe in the rules, so it is a different thing. Because whatever the logic you write, it is action attribute specific. If you remember, so in the action part of the rule, like the third part of the rule, so there will be a section for the attributes to add. So there is a plus icon, so we'll click that and we'll add attributes. So those are nothing but the action attributes. When you select one action attribute, then on the right side, the respective script will be shown. So you can add logic to the respective attribute only. But if you see, this is the area where you can set logic to the multiple attributes. So when we are sending logic to the multiple attributes, like data to the multiple attributes, so we should be having some identification, like whatever the data is there, so it should set to which attribute. So we need to specify that. So for that, there is a format here. So we also came across some written format in the recommended item rules, if you observe. So in that rule, we can't just simply data. So it's dependent on each part. So whatever the information is there, so we'll frame in the format part wise. So your part, your quantity related information, your price, your comments related to that part, everything. So like that, we can send multiple parts related information with the help of some delimiters. So similarly here, if you observe in the commerce, if you want to set some value to the some attribute or field, so there is a format. So what this format should contain is, it will be composed of three values. Like if you want to set some data to some particular attribute, only single attribute, so these are the three fields you need. So the first field is document number, second field is attribute variable name, third field is value. Ignore document number for now. So if you see the second one, attribute variable name. Attribute variable name we all already know. So at the time of creation of attribute, so we'll give some name and we'll give some variable name, right? So that is the variable name. We need to use it here. If you want to set some value to the total price attribute, so we need to enter total price variable name here. And this tilde we already know. So this is a value delimiter. So to separate the values of same attribute related information, so we need to use this tilde as a delimiter. And the third value will be your value, like if the total price is $100 or $200, like that you need to send. And if you observe the first value, document number is the thing. So what is this document number? Let's see. So this document number is nothing but a number, like serial number you can say, or ID number you can say. So whatever the information is there in this transaction, so it will be given some number to it. So as a part of this numbering, so this serial giving this ordering or something like that, so there is everything will start with one in general. Okay, so whatever the attributes which are there on the quote level, so for every quote attribute the level is same, so the number will be 1 there. So whatever, if you have like total price, like individual price, unit price, list price, part description or product information, like that, quantity, anything, any attribute you create, client information, vendor information, like that, any attributes you create at the main document level, so at the main document level all these attributes will be having the document number as 1. It is like statically it's defined, like by predefined. Okay, so when we talk about the subdocument related attributes on the code, so as we know that a transaction is composed of main document and subdocument. So main document is nothing but the code. So whatever the attributes we create at main document level, all those attributes will be having the document number as 1. All the like subdocuments, the attributes related to the subdocument will be having the document numbers from 2, starting from 2. I can say 2, 3, 4, like this, and so on. So we may have a doubt. So there will be multiple attributes on the quote level, nothing but the main document level. So for every attribute, we are giving the document number as 1. Okay, that's fine. So we'll be having similarly multiple attributes in the subdocument level also. But why we are saying 2, 3, 4 and so on? So is it means that we are giving like if the first attribute in the subdocument level is gets the 2 and the second attribute in the subdocument level will get attribute 3, the idea is 3. No, it's not like that. Whatever all the subdocument level attributes are there, this subdocument is nothing but a table kind of thing. Yeah, I just opened a transaction, existing transaction, by clicking the process invocation action. So if you observe, the whole page can be treated as a transaction or quote, nothing but your main document. Okay, so as we discussed, subdocument is part of the main document. We can see here a line item grid here, this table. You can see, right? This line item grid, this view and all, this products quantity, price, total price, everything, this table till this page one of one. So this is our subdocument area. So if you see, so in this subdocument area, there is a small table here. So products, quantity, price, everything in this line are attributes, different attributes of the subdocument level. And if we observe, so for each attribute is treated as a column here. If we say total price, so total price is the looking like a header of the column. So this is the heading, and we can see some data here under the total price. So $0 and $0. So like that, it can be having multiple rows. So those multiple rows are nothing but, however, like what is the count, what can be the count, it's okay. So what all the data we get from the configuration to the commerce, nothing but if we get 10 parts from the configuration to commerce, so here we are going to get 10 rows here. So like if you are recommending 2 parts from the configuration to commerce, if you navigate to commerce, so in the commerce transaction page in the subdocument area, so you can see 2 rows. Those 2 rows are nothing but the information of your 2 parts. So how many parts you send, so those many number of rows will be created at this subdocument level. So that is not, each row is nothing but each part information. So for each part, so you will be sending different types of data, right? So you will be sending price, you will be sending quantity, and in the comment section you may include like 50 attributes related information. We are not sure, so it depends on your logic. So like that, all that part related information will be treated will be kept in a row as a part wise. So if you send 3 parts related information, you will be getting 3 rows here. So like that. So for each part, as we discussed, there will be different areas of data, different features or different quantity or some different information related to that part. So all these attributes will be treated as headers here. So if you observe this particular $0, so this is nothing but a price of the your first part. So next one, this is the price of your second part, like that, discount of the first part. So like that. So every attribute, if we see, the attribute is same, the value is differing basing on the part we send. So that is why if we see this in the first level, what if we created 10 attributes at the transaction, I mean subdocument level, so all these attributes will be there for the part 1, and all these 10 attributes will be there for part 2. So this is the level what they're expecting, or what they designed the document number. So whatever the quote attributes are there, they will be there for one time on the transaction. So because this is whole quote related or transaction level information, so we don't need multiple values of those attributes. But here if we see the part, the sub document, so we will be needing, we should be handling multiple values because we may be handling multiple parts. So for each part, for each attribute, so the value will differ. For attribute A, like so for part A, the price will be different. For part B, the price will be different, like that. So the same attribute should be replicating to handle or to hold the values of different parts related information. So that's why you can visualize this whole document, main document number as 1. So whatever the part is there, it will be there for one time, whatever the attribute is there. So this quotation date, if you observe, this will be there for one time. So if you observe this quotation number, it will be there for one time. So that's why we can treat the document number as 1. If we see that quantity here, this quantity at the line item table, if you see, so this quantity can be part A related quantity, part B related quantity, part C related quantity. So like that, there can be multiple values of chance for the subdocument level attribute. So that's why he gave the document numbers. So the first row will get 2, the second row will get 3, so like that, and so on. like basing on the number of parts you create. For example, if you add 50 parts related information from configuration to commerce, the total number of document numbers on your code will be 1 for the code and 50 for the your parts. So nothing but the final document number on the quote will be 51. One for the quotation, one for the main document. From 2 to 51 is your document numbers related to your parts related information. So like that. So that is how they will give this document numbers. Why we need this document numbers is nothing but, so to set the value, so we need this document numbers. Why? Because, so for example, we are setting the total price as $100, but for which part we should set? To identify that, so we need the help of this document number. So we can say, we can think like basing on the part number, because the price is specific to part, we can set the logic. So there may be a situation, even the part number may become duplicate. For example, A101 is your part. I will write in the same level, A101. Okay, A102. So he needs quantity as 3, he needs quantity as 4 for these two parts. So like to increase, for example, he is done with his requirements. What if he wants to increase the quantity? Like A101, he needs one more thing. So what should we do? So he can change the quantity here as well, like he can make it to 3 to 4, or he can add this part again. A101, I need one more quantity, like this. He can do either ways. A101 quantity 3 can be like change it to 4 if he wants to upgrade, or he can leave that as it is and he can add a new row, nothing but new part again. So A101 quantity is 1. So these are the two ways which are possible to increase the part. So in this case, if we apply the price to the part based number, so it will apply to only first row, it won't be applied to the third row. So in that case, to avoid that like discrepancies or issues, so we will be handling this assigning or accessing the parts related information from the subdocument level with the help of this document number. So because this document number can't be duplicated, so if it gives two once, so that two will be confined to that particular row. Even if you delete in future or somewhat, if you do, so why I said this is there is a chance to delete the existing parts on the code. So there will be a delete action if we click that, so we can delete those parts. So to avoid even if it happened, so that two will not be allotted to the new part in future. So that is fixed. So that's why so you can treat this document number as a key, so it won't be replicated or it won't be duplicated. So basing on that document number, we will be setting values. For example, if you want to set $500 to A102, so I can set like, I will treat the document number. I will take the document number 3. So this is the document number. The attribute value will be total price variable name. So document number 3, total price variable name tilde my $100 or $200 price. So that is the format how we return. If it's a sub document, if it's a quote level attribute, we can statically define one. So here I will replace the same line, quote 1, total price 100. So if it's a quote attribute, I can give like this. If it's a line attribute, so this is how I return. But what if we have This is the format, the general format we follow. This is the main document, so we give simply one. So if the line attributes information, we can simply give 2 3 4 like that. So what if you have like thousands of like hundreds of part on the UI? So you should we statically define like everything, like for 2, for 3, for 4, for 6, for 10, for 125th part? So like that we can't give statically, right? So this can be uh, like whatever this first document number is there, so this can be handled or used dynamically in the logic. So instead of statically defining for the second row, third row like that, so we can dynamically define it. So to define that values dynamically, so we need to access some line related information. So we have general for loop, right? So with the help of that for loop structure, so we can access whatever the line item table is there. So all these rows we can access with the help of some for loop, and the on which we loop is, so there will be a keyword for whole this line level section. So whatever it's there, that keyword will be. So we'll be creating some main document and sub document, right, at the process at the beginning. So we'll create a process, we'll create a main document and sub document. So at the time of creation main document sub document, we give name and variable name for the main document and for the sub document as well. So when we give a name and variable name for the sub document, so whatever the variable name is there for that sub document, so with the help of that variable name we can access this loop. So that is like a bit like we can discuss in the next section, that thing. So how to set values dynamically to the line level attributes. But for now let's see statically only. So once we are good with setting the logic to the quote level attributes, so then we can shift to the line level attributes. So for now, like don't bother about this. So we'll see like once we are good with the setting logic from multiple areas to the code level attributes, then we'll shift to the uh, sub document level attributes. So we saw the code default where we can set logic to the multiple attributes. We saw the attribute defaults, which the logic is specified to the particular attribute. Before formulas also similar to code default, we can set values to the multiple attributes even after formulas also. But code default will run at the time of creation of code. If we click new transaction or create code or something, some kind of cross invocation action, so at that time only this logic will run at the time of creation of code. When we say default, at the time of creation. If it's a code default, at the time of code creation or transaction creation. If it's an attribute default, so when the code is created, so for the first time that attribute will be added to the code. So at that instance, whatever this logic is there for that respective attribute, it will run. This before formulas and after formulas will run as many times you click that action on the transaction. So for example, if there is an action called perform discounts or update discounts or something like that on the code, if you click that action, these two areas will run. As many times you click, so as many times they will run. And if we see the formulas, so this is one more area where we can write some logic. So this formulas is again, so as we discussed the attribute default, right? For particular attribute at the time of creation, there is a default tab. In that we can write the logic. Even the formulas also attribute specific. For this attribute, what is the logic you can include? So like that. So it is also attribute or field specific. Let's see where we can find the formulas also. I just came to the admin page, opening the process definition. So you can see the list of processes, right? So we can select whatever the process we need, like our process. So if you click the drop down, the same drop down, the process, the drop down beside the process. So if you click it, so we can see one area called formulas here. So I selected formulas. So when I select formulas, so I got navigated to a new page. So this is the place where you can add formulas, you can delete formulas, you can define formulas like that. So right now for this process, they are having like two formulas here. So how to write is, so this is like we need to add logic here, but we can't write the script completely. Here we'll be having like different operators to like select different functions to select. So basing on the requirement, we can use them. So I'll just type some attribute name. And one more suggestion is, so whenever you write a formula, like if you want to add a formula to a particular value or field or attribute, so better to keep in the variable mode. So here you can see two buttons here. One is label, one is variable. So label is nothing but it will show the label name of your attributes. Variable, if you click variable, it will show the variable name of your attributes. So I'm clicking variable. So why I said to choose variable is, if you give two attributes as the same label name, it will accept. If you give two attributes the same variable name, it won't accept. If it's the same label name, it will accept. So that's why, to avoid the confusion, better to select variable, and basing on the variable name you can search it if you already added it. If you don't add it, like you can simply enter your variable name here. So I will enter the same variable name here because I'm not sure of attributes here. Total. I'm selecting transaction total. So this is the attribute is selected here. So now we can define the formula here in the formulas right side field. So if you start typing, it will show you any suggestions. So basing on the things you entered, it's like suggestions, general suggestions, what basing on the text. So here it's showing functions, the list of functions available with SU, and it is showing the first option as literal value. If it's a string, if you want to enter as SU, so like that, and it's showing related functions. If I start typing if, so it is showing that if as text or related functions, sum if, average if function. So I'm taking if. So once we select the respective function, it will show you an editor, what you can be done, what logic you can, how you can add the logic there. So generally, if block, what it will contain, if block will need a condition, and if it gets satisfied, it will execute something. If it gets failed, it will execute something like that. So here we need to add condition. I'm just selecting static values a. So when I type equal to, you can see literal values, operators, and everything. So I'm selecting equals to b. I just added a condition like a equals to b. So if that is true, so there is one more section we can select. If we click this true value selection section, so here I can enter something like this. So if we click false, so if that condition got failed, what should it execute? So like this. So this is how like we can use this editor. So like if possible, like in your free time, try to like explore the different types of functions we have here. So try to add it. So try to add the conditions. See here, you can see in the condition not only the true or false values. If you see, we can add parentheses here, we can add operators here, and concat, like that. So there will be like different things what we can access here. There will be different functions here, if conditions, like that. So you can access those things, like grouping related operators, etc. So try like setting, so whenever you try setting values to the code level attributes from your logic or with the actions, so also try setting the same things with the uh, formulas. So try to comment them. So whatever the logic you write on the actions for this quote attribute, this is the value when you try. So just comment it or delete it, and try to apply the same thing with the formulas. So then we'll get habituated with the UI. So this is somewhat different UI, right? So we'll get habituated to that. So try to do the same logic in the formulas, and then with your uh, coding area, like BML script in your action area. And this is the quote attribute I entered. So we can add whatever this attribute you can see here. So it's showing in pink, right? So this pink color is nothing but here their following is for the line level attributes. If it's a quote level attribute, you can be seen in blue color. So that's how you can differentiate also here. These are all the line level attributes. And if something comes in blue, so it's nothing but the quote level attribute. So once you are done with adding like writing the formula, so you just need to click here this button. So once you click it, it will add. So it won't add, I guess, because I selected a different variable name. I'm not sure. Yeah. So basing on the data type, you need to enter the proper value. So like that, you can add different formulas here. If you click this, it's just to delete the formula. And make sure you won't delete the existing formulas if you are using existing process. If you are creating a new process, that's fine. You can create and delete the formulas. And one thing is, so even after you add your formulas or change anything, so even for the formulas, you need to deploy at your process level. So as your changes are related to your process specific, so you need to go to your process level, just deploy it. And one more thing, if you added some logic, if you feel it's not running, the first thing you need to check is whether you deployed that logic or not. So that's the thing you need to check. So if something is not working, so try deploying it once again and then test it again. So if it's still failing, so then you can check your logic or something like that. So these are the different areas which we can set the logic in the commerce level. So I just want you guys to create a process and try to create some like 4 or 5 attributes. So try setting values through all these areas. So and try to see the difference, how we set the attribute, how we set the logic. So if it's a formula directly, so you don't need to follow any uh, written format, because everything it's like almost a UI kind of thing. So we just need to select from the suggestions what we got, and we just need to add or frame our logic. So other areas we need to write the logic. And make sure if it's an attribute default, you don't need to return the format, because you're writing the logic for that particular attribute. You just need to return your value. If it's not attribute default or formulas, you need to return using your format. The format is nothing but your document number. Obviously we'll be working on the first quote level attributes only, right? So the document number will be 1, and your attribute value, variable name, and your value. So each value is separated with of single attribute related information with tilde. We just added in notepad, right? Yeah, here, like this. So what if you want to send another attribute related information? So we saw in the configuration, right? So we'll be sending multiple parts related information. Tilde is our value delimiter, and pipe is our item delimiter, nothing but part delimiter. If you want to send 2 parts, so you will add one part related information with tilde as delimiter, and another part related information with tilde delimiter. But if you want to differentiate these 2 parts, you need one more delimiter, nothing but part delimiter. It's nothing but pipe cap pipe in configuration. Here it's just a pipe. If you observe, the value delimiter is same. For in configuration, item or part delimiter is nothing but pipe cap pipe. Here, if you want to differentiate multiple attributes, so here you need to use pipe. So if I want to give multiple parts related information, multiple attributes related information here, so what I will do is I'll copy the same thing here. Control C. I'll add pipe here and add like this. I will change the variable name as part price 1. So to make sure these are 2 different attributes. So like this. So this is the document number. Both are quote level attributes, right? So quote level attribute, the document number will be 1 for all the attributes. So 1, my delimiter, attribute variable name, its value. So I'm going to add new attribute related information. So I added my attribute delimiter pipe. So after that, again document number, delimiter, variable name, delimiter value, like this. So you can add multiple attributes related information like this.